Rants. Like and subscribe. So, me and my best friend Barry Baines, who I mentioned before in previous videos and whatnot, we have this little thing, where we, listen to music that came out 30 years ago, 40 years ago, 20 years ago, you guys understand, etc., right? And we just like to, compare it and see how, music has changed over the decades and whatnot. And, when we got to 2006, we stumbled across this classic, right? It might not be a classic to you, but classic to us, right? Cameron Killer Season, right? And it's a track on there, right? If you guys, I don't know if you guys ever had the album, right? I believe track 3 on the album, Leave You Alone. It's a line that always stood out to me. It always stood out to me. I believe the great Cameron Giles said, "We thinking I'm raunchy. Watch Menace II Society. Think about Chauncey. The snitch factor. Now it's a big factor." Oh, and best believe, yeah, it's definitely a big factor. See, Rants is not a street. Do you see the type of content Rants make? When that street stuff gets mentioned, Rants like to stray away from that, However, these movies, they're in the streets, and when you talk about the streets, you got to talk about the gravel, the asphalt, the tar, the little yellow line in the middle, the rumble strip. You got to talk about the streets. You got to. And this rant is Chauncey. Yep. Menace II Society. You guys remember, right? Chauncey. Yep. And of course, like we always do, we got to start from the beginning. Now, this is actually rare on Rant's part because I'm usually on point with my research, right? But you got to understand, to talk about this California stuff, you got to be plugged in with the blue, the red, the orange, whatever they were. And, you got to be plugged in with that, right? And I never got Chauncey's mother's information, unfortunately, right? But we do know Chauncey's father. Yeah, Big Bulldog Summers. Yep, you see him. And then you see his mother, of course. That's actually his mother right there, right? And Chauncey was born and raised Jordan Down Projects. And that picture that you're seeing, that's actually right before his sister was born and whatnot. You guys may be familiar with his sister too. Yeah, his sister, Shireen Summers. But, and I mean, you guys see the picture, and I guess you like, oh, I've seen these people before. But see, to even know Shireen would know that she was going by her middle name in high school. Yeah, her name is Juanita Summers. And she has a brother named Chauncey. Yeah, you guys didn't know this? Like, hold on. Alright. So, you guys thought we were going to start at Menace II Society? No. Hold on. Please, hold on. So, you guys didn't go watch my play video? Yeah, okay, so I did a play video, right? It's a play video that I did previously, right? And I'm explaining how he wasn't a good friend to kid and whatnot. And I I touched on this. Yeah, Chauncey. Okay, let's just start from house party. How about we do that? Because then, you can meet the whole family. We could, we can get on that. We could touch on the Jody stuff because it's not really her episode. It's not Juanita's episode, right? It's not their episode. We can touch on it real quick. Then we can go right into Menace II Society, right? So, boom, let's start. You remember, Sydney was walking down Grape Street to Jordan Downs to go get Shireen, a.k.a. Juanita, for that house party, for Play's house party. You guys remember this, right? She knocks on the door. Who answers the door? Chauncey. Yeah, he always on the phone. He gonna be on the phone in Menace II Society too. You don't worry. He's always on the phone. Yeah. Y'all remember Sydney walked right in? Y'all remember? We got to see Grandma. We got to see the father, Bulldog. Remember, he's gotten big over the years, right? Hey, fix me some of that Dick Gregory. That's Bulldog. Well known, blue side. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's making sense now, right? Yeah. And if you know Juanita, Shireen, however you were introduced to her, right? Then you know that she only has one brother, which is Chauncey. See, the movie is called House Party. It's not called Teen Pregnancy Party. This is a different time in the country, okay? They want people to practice safe sex. Understand that, okay? Y'all do y'all research on that time period. But yeah, they didn't want to focus Shireen's story around, you know that. But everybody who's anybody knows the character Peanut is based off of. Okay, I guess it's making sense now, right? And we'll eventually get on them. Because this is not their episode, right? But you guys are introduced to Chauncey, right? And understand, Chauncey became a product of his environment. He's from Jordan Downs. He's from Grape Street, where they G-slide. You already know that. And, he becomes down. I mean, look, his father is Bulldog Summers. He becomes down. And I guess that would lead us to the events of Menace II Society, right? And I mean, you guys know how the movie starts off. We already know by now, right? Caine and O-Dog, they're inside the liquor store. They just wanted some 40s. They're being followed by the Korean lady, the guy who owns the store. Hurry up and buy. They want him to hurry up. They're rushing him out the store. And, O-Dog asks for Caine's change, and Caine cracks open that 40 and takes a long, cold guzzle of it. Boy, they can make a 40 ounce of malt liquor look so good back in the day, right? And he's drinking it, and then O-Dog, of course, does the unthinkable. You guys know what happened, right? Y'all know. And he goes in the back, right, and asks the lady for the tape. Well, he demands the tape, more so, right? And then he does that to her too, right? Y'all already know. And then he walks out with that tape before he gets the money, before it becomes a robbery too, because now it's a robbery attached to it too, right? Remember, he has that tape in his back pocket. So, yeah, he has the tape, right? Boom. Next scene, we see Caine at his graduation party, right? And y'all remember he pulls up with his cousin Harold. Y'all remember? It's his graduation party, so everybody can't wait to see him. They're like, what's good, Caine? You even see Stacy. That's when you guys first see Stacy. And he's like, damn, Caine, what you trying to be Mr. Primetime? And Caine is like, what? What do you mean? And Stacy's like, yeah, I seen the tape, buddy. I seen the tape. And Harold's like, I told you. Implying that he told Caine that O-Dog has been showing all his friends, like, dude, I think O-Dog is hot. And he's probably been showing all your friends the tape. You know, you got to watch out. You feel me? Watch him, man. Watch him. He's a live wire. And Caine walks out back, right? And we see Chauncey. He daps up Chauncey. Chauncey's playing dice with AWACS. And you see O-Dog right there, and Caine pulls O-Dog to the side. He's like, I know you're not dumb enough to be showing people the robbery tape. And O-Dog like, damn, I'm just having fun. You know, the tape is funny to me. And then he see Caine's face, and he's like, all right, I ain't showing nobody else. Nobody else is going to see it, you know. And then, of course, after the party, you guys already know the tragic event. You know, they caught, they was at that light, I believe, on Crenshaw. Terrible light. They caught Caine and his cousin Harold. I believe it was Young Jeezy. Young Jeezy and his crew. Yeah, caught Harold. You guys see Jeezy right there. You see him. Yeah, caught Harold at the light. You know, and it was just so, like, rude. You know, after they did that to Harold, I just couldn't stand this part. They jacked the car, right? And then he wipes the brain matter, which we know is just smeared. Oh, my God. Like, and then takes the car. You know, like, Jeezy just didn't care, you know? And, I mean, I have to say that part because we see Caine and O-Dog talking, and he's like, yeah, you know, we found that we got the drop on Young Jeezy and his crew, you know, that pulled up on you and Harold. Are you down to retaliate? And of course, Caine says he is. He's going to ride for his cousin, right? And in that very next scene is the second time we see Chauncey. Yeah, O-Dog is showing off the tape again. You would think this is Michael Jordan highlights. He's showing it off, and you can hear Chauncey loud. He's in the background. Hey, Wax, check Caine back there with the 40 looking like a sucker. You know, and they teasing Caine. They're teasing him. And then they watch, of course, the actual gruesome part of the video, right? The actual 187, right? And you see Chauncey get so excited. Like he just seen a linebacker put a crazy hit on a quarterback, you know? He like, yeah, O-Dog, hit that dude. You hit that Korean dude. And clearly I'm cleaning up the language for YouTube, right? Clearly, right? You know, but you guys saw the movie, right? And Caine is mad, you know, because he looks scared in the video. And he's blown, telling O-Dog, man, you always want to put on a show. And Chauncey asks, yo, dog, you know, let me get a copy of this tape. And O-Dog, you know, he's a kid. But he's telling Wax and Chauncey, he's like, look, I'm selling this tape for $59.99. And Chauncey reaches in his pocket and say, look, I got money. And see, you guys never cared anymore because Too Short came out with the pump and he stole the scene. But we're going to assume that Chauncey actually bought that tape off of O-Dog. Like they were dead serious. And it clearly shows in the movie, right? We see the crew back in Lulo crib. They watching the robbery tape for the 212th time. You would think they were like, you would think they were a lawyer. Like they're really trying to find like innocence in this, right? Like this is what they watch as their entertainment, you know? And we see Caine call the crib, right? And AWACS answer. He's like, what's popping? You know? He like, ain't nothing, you know, hold on. Pass the phone to O-Dog. O-Dog like, what's up, Caine? I've been trying to page you all day. And Caine asks, who's all there? And O-Dog answers, it's me, Wax, Luloke, and that punk sissy Chauncey. And y'all seen the movie. Y'all know what he really said. Y'all know what he really said. But for YouTube, we're going to say that punk sissy Chauncey, right? And Chauncey is clearly passed out off the dro. And Caine lets O-Dog know. He's like, yeah, I'm going to hang with y'all tonight. You know, O-Dog like, all right, you going to ride? All right, that's a bet. And then we hear a knock on the door, right? And O-Dog's calling order in a room full of adults. Remember, O-Dog's a kid. He's a teenager. Remember, he's America's worst nightmare. Young, black, and don't diver. Y'all know, y'all remember, right? Yeah, so he's calling rank in this room full of adults, right? He's like, yeah, man, wake that fool Chauncey up, man. Tell him answer the door. And they wake Chauncey up. Mind you, he was in a cool dro nap. Okay? Taking a cool dro nap. They wake him up. They like, yeah, go open the door, man. And you see Chauncey gets up. He's waking up now. He gets up and he realizes he's just been punked. So he's trying to make up for it. He like, what? Y'all made something to eat? And y'all ain't make me nothing, man? Man, y'all ain't it, man. Y'all ain't it. You feel me? And then we see Chauncey opens the door and we see it's Nick, the insurance man, right? And Chauncey's bullying him the whole scene. He's like, why you come over here so early? And Nick was like, well, you said come over here at 1. Chauncey's like, man, I don't care what I said. Look, Nick, I don't get up till around 2:30. So don't come over here early next time. And then he's like, let me see what you got, man. And you see it's a photo. A black 1990 Nissan Maxima. And Nick is stressing. He's like, look, it gotta look exactly like that. And Chauncey's like, all right. And then he proceeds to say, now, this is Rant's personal favorite line out of the whole damn movie. Chauncey delivers this line like it's, oh my God. He deserved an award for this, right? Chauncey, he just stops the damn conversation with Nick, right? I don't know if y'all remember. See, y'all don't remember the movie, right? You had to be there, right? See, y'all, you can't tell when you're watching the movie, but it's an aroma coming from that house, right? That it smells like breakfast food, right? And Chauncey looks back. He looks back and he's like, yo, Wax, yo, let me get some links with them grits. I'm hungry than a mother butter. Out here, you know, we gotta say mother butter, but you know what he said. I'm hungry than a mother butter out here. Give me some links with them grits. And it's evident that Chauncey is not Muslim. Okay? So, yeah, write that down. Write that down on your notes. Chauncey is not Muslim. Chauncey wanted some sausage links with his grits, okay? So random, but hands down my favorite line of the movie, right? And you see Nick. He's telling Chauncey, look, the car has to be in excellent running condition or the insurance company is not going to give you any money for the car. And Chauncey's like, yeah, I can handle it, man. I got you. Just be here tomorrow at 10:30. And Nick say, Will, like, are you sure? Like, you want me to come around here tomorrow, like at 10:30? This is Jordan Downs. And Chauncey's like, did I stutter? Like, what's wrong with you? What you got an issue coming around here that late? Because you didn't have an issue asking the black man to steal for you? And then he assaults him. And then it's like, yeah, I hope you find your way down Compton Avenue, mother butter. You know, you got to say that because, you feel me, it's YouTube, right? I know it sounds corny. I get it, but work with me, okay? I'm ranting right now. God damn. All right? And then in the next scene, you see the failed mission, right? Chauncey sends them on a failed mission, and O-Dog and Caine gets arrested. A-Wax got up out of there, but O-Dog and Caine gets arrested. And granted, it was not Chauncey's fault. It was the parking attendant. They noticed some strange behavior, and they reported it. But that was a sign from God. For Caine, though, and O-Dog, like, yeah, when you mess around with Chauncey, the police get involved. Message! But they didn't catch it. See, they're young, you know? And then the next time we see Chauncey is at the cookout. He like, yo, Wax, turn that music up. You see him? He's always the loudest one in the scene. And you see when my man Luloke was done with the ribs, right? You know, the West Coast, or on the West Coast, on the East Coast, from what I hear, they have cookouts. On the West Coast, from what I hear, they have barbecues. Okay? And it's the same thing. It's just that you can wear shorts at one of them in November, and the weather's still somewhat okay. And I guess you guys will know, what coast that is. That would be the West Coast, because they're at a barbecue, right? And at a barbecue, they're always going to serve ribs. And as you can see, my man Chauncey, he was one of the ones that wanted some too, but it was a big rush for them ribs, as y'all can see. You guys remember that scene, right? And this leads us to Ronnie's going away party, right? Now, you guys remember this scene, right? I actually spoke on this scene before. But we're at Ronnie's going away party, right? O-Dog is there, Caine is there, and whatnot. And we hear a knock on the door. And you can hear Chauncey loud before the door's even open. It's 5-0, mother butter! And I get it. It's corny, but work with me. Work with me. We ranting, right? And you see he shows up drunk with A-Wax and some females. One is Yo-Yo, right? And soon as he gets in, you guys probably watched this movie a million times, but you never noticed it because you was never watching it from Chauncey's perspective. But as soon as he walks in that house, he says, "Where's Ronnie find self at? And this mother butter." Like he looking for Ronnie. Like, that was a goal of his, And you guys remember Anthony, Ronnie's son, sneaks out. Ronnie comes outside, tells her son, get back in and whatnot. Then she asks Caine to come in. And we see Chauncey is on Ronnie again. He like, hey, come here. Try and get a hug, smelling like all malt liquor. And Ronnie is clearly saying no. And then you see Caine come over. He like, Chauncey, chill out, man. Like, relax, man. And Chauncey like, I was just joking. You my man, Caine. Then he says, Ronnie, I'm going to catch you later, though. And then takes a swig of his 40-ounce backwash. Crazy with it, right? Then he say, Caine, me and you, baby. Cock blocking mother butter. Still mad, right? And then, Ronnie grooms Caine to the Honey Love by R. Kelly, which is a crazy song choice, right? We've already spoke on that. We spoke on Ronnie's perspective on a video already. That's in the past. You guys can go check that out. Okay? Boom, right? And then, y'all remember after that, right? Y'all remember Caine is playing cards with the crew. And Stacy's teasing him, saying, hey, what, you was knocking it out, huh? And Caine like, get out of my business, Stacy. Like, Stacy could hear that. You not, the house ain't that big. We can hear you in the room, man. We can hear Ronnie moaning. We heard that. So why are you upset, Caine? But Caine is in his feelings, right? And you see Chauncey, he's telling a random girl, like, yeah, me, A-Wax, and Caine, we was at the Laker game last night, which was a scene that was left out of the movie. They left that scene out of the movie, right? And Ronnie walks by, and Chauncey just ditches the chick that he was talking to, and he's literally on all four knees, barking like a dog. And Ronnie's like, stop. And Chauncey's like, hold on, wait, I want to talk to you. Just let me get this dance. And Ronnie's like, no, Chauncey, I'm not trying to dance with you. And Chauncey is drunk. And he becomes aggressive. And Caine, who is clearly a young man, because he has stamina, because any other dude would be in that room sleep after Ronnie put that grown tax-paying tail on you? What? Man, I'm in that room sleep. But not Caine. Caine asked O-Dog for the whop. And y'all know what happened? Caine beat Chauncey senseless with the whop. They had to break it up. It was a big deal. Y'all remember? It ended the party. It ended the going away party, that incident. And the last time we see Chauncey in the movie, of course, is, the scene with him and Doc is watching boxing. And he's like, Chauncey, you missing it, man. This dude is crushing his opponent. Similar to how Caine was beating you the other night. And you see Chauncey in the background with that tape in that envelope. And he like, yeah. Well, I bet Caine won't be laughing when I send 5-0 this tape. And Doc like, yeah, I hear you, but this remind me of Caine beating on you. And he like, man, forget Caine. And he mad. And he sends in the damn tape, man. He sends it in. And Caine actually mentions it before his demise. He's like, yeah, that same day we was about to leave, ODog told me that the cops was looking for both of us. You know, for the liquor store robbery. They said Doc dropped a dime on Chauncey. And ODog stat, he would eliminate Chauncey if the cops don't find him first. But you guys already know what happened though, right? Y'all know what happened. Y'all know what happened to Caine. Y'all know what happened to ODog. They said it in the movie. ODog got locked up. He got arrested for it. So Chauncey's plan worked. He got ODog up out of there. And Caine already passed away. So, what y'all think? I guess y'all think, now this is the part y'all been waiting for, right? Y'all, so Rants, you gotta let us know what happened to Chauncey. Like, what y'all think? Y'all think he moved over to Rancho Cucamonga and got him a record store or something? You think he changed his identity to Pinkies or something? That's what y'all think? Y'all funny, man. Y'all hilarious, man. I mean, what you think happened to him? This is South Central LA. You know, somebody passes away in South Central LA every day, except for the day Ice Cube was talking about, right? But yeah, it's South Central LA. And AWAX and Lulo, they not about to be hanging with no snitch. Yeah. They eliminated Chauncey. Chauncey got eliminated. And just by me telling you guys this, that would make me a snitch. So let me get on out of here. Y'all like and subscribe. Randumb Rants. Like and subscribe.